Alright, y'all. So for this tutorial, I will show you all how to generate a UV map and export out your pumpkin along with its color texture from ZBrush. Okay. So last tutorial we cover how to do your Z remesher and reproject the details back on your low res pumpkin here. So now let's get into how to UV unwrap it. And to do that, before I do anything else, I'm going to go to geometry and make sure that your low res like pumpkin remesh subtool is selected. Go to geometry and I'm going to drag the subdiv all the way slider here all the way back to 1, and you'll see this super low res janky looking pumpkin once again. Yeah. All right, so once you got that going, let's click on Z plugin, and I'm actually going to dock it over here for easy access. And you can open this up by double clicking on this little arrow icon here. So open that up, and then close that out so I can see. Just grab this little Z plugin window and drag it over here. And then I'm going to keep my subtool master, sorry, not subtool, UV master open like that. Okay. Let me bring this window back. All right, so now, next thing I want to do once I have my UV master docked over here is click work on clone. Once I click that, you will see that it makes a extra tool here called CL Pumpkin Remesh, and CL stands for clone and should be all white, and that's how you know that it is the clone pumpkin, right? Your original pumpkin is still here, and this is now the clone pumpkin, okay? So with your clone pumpkin, I'm going to hit Shift F to bring up polyframe mode, and I'm going to go to the top view, and on my keyboard, I'm going to press B, Z, M to bring up my Z modeler brush. And with the Z modeler brush selected, I'm going to kind of zoom in here, make sure I'm hovering over a face instead of an edge or a point, a face. And right click to bring up this menu and select poly group. And I'm going to select brush radius. Then I'm going to move my brush out to get rid of that menu. And now if I click, I will select an area of my mesh and assign a new poly group to that. And because we use brush radius, it's dependent on your brush size. So if I make it super big, so you'll see, click again, you'll see that's how much I'm selecting. So I'm just going to keep it like, maybe I'll make it a little bigger, like this big maybe. Maybe that's too big. That's fine. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom of the pumpkin. So again, make sure you're selecting the face. Click. Alrighty, so with that out of the way, I am going back to my UV master menu here, and I'm going to uncheck symmetry, click on polygroup, and click on unwrap. And and we can check to see if it's successful or not by click on flatten, and you will see that that's our UV. Okay. So, and in order to bring back the 3D view, you can click on unflatten. All right. And now the next step is we need to copy the UVs of this clone pumpkin and paste it on our original pumpkin. And to do that, we hit copy UV. Now we're going to go back to our original pumpkin up in our tool shelf tab thing here. So click on pumpkin remesh and hit Shift F to turn off your polyframe mode, and make sure that you're back on this pumpkin, and you can hit paste UV. Okay, so now if everything went as planned, your pumpkin should now have UVs, and you can't check it. Yeah, you can't check it because it has subdivision. That's fine. So now after you click on paste UV, click drag this slider back up so that you bring back your high res model. And I'm going to get out of the Z remesher tool by just pressing BCB on my keyboard to bring back up my clay build-up tool. All right, so this is your high-res remesh pumpkin, and next step is we're going to generate a texture map for it. And in order to do that, let's scroll down here to where it says UV map, and I'm just going to click on 4096, and that means your UV size is now 4096 by 4096, aka a 4K texture UV. All right, so after I click on 4096, I'm going to then expand texture map, then click create and new from Polypaint, and you'll see that a texture gets created here. Okay. So now the last thing we have to do is export this pumpkin out. So to do that, let's go back up to our sorry, not subtool menu, to our geometry menu, and let's drag this all the way back to 1 again, and let's go up to export, and I'm going to select file, select a folder location that you will remember. I'm just going to name this pumpkin underscore 03. That's the folder, and I'm going to put this pumpkin remesh in there, and where it says the save as type, by default is OBJ, and so click down, just click it to expand the menu, and let's select FBX and hit save, and you'll be presented with the FBX export option. And there's not many options you need to change. The only thing you need to do is, for some of you, by default, I think it's at all like this. So let's click on selected, and that will mean that it's only exporting out the subtool that you have selected in your subtool menu. So beside that, everything should be good. Hit OK, and ZBrush will run a little subtool export thing, and once it's done, it will say subtool exported. Okay, and let's just close that out, and let's minimize that, and let's open up Maya. Okay, and hit new here, create a new menu, and just where I saved that pumpkin, I'm going to click and drag it into Maya. And this is a little workaround because there has been some kind of weird issue with the UV. So once you have it in Maya, I'm just checking, making sure the UV is good here. And once I know that it's good, I'm going to select it and export it out as an FBX again. So Koa demo, pumpkin 3, and you can save it over the one you exported out from ZBrush. That's fine. And by default, I have it as FBX export, but if you don't, please make sure that it's in FBX export and hit export selection. And it'll say, hey, you want to replace it? Say yes, export, and you're done. And that is how you do an export of the pumpkin with the texture. And in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to import it into Substance Painter and do a bake, and we can go from there.